Okay, and we should be live. How's everything sounding out there? Can everybody hear me okay? The level's good? Just watching the room fill up here. Oh, to the guy who said I should do something with Red Letter Media, yeah, I'd love to, but I'm betting that they probably don't know who I am. But if they did, yeah, I'd definitely be up for that. All right, it's looking like everybody can hear me fine. So, welcome to my 100,000 subscriber live Q&A, and I think it was around this time last year I did my 50,000 subscriber Q&A. So hopefully at this time next year I'll be doing a 200,000 subscriber Q&A. When's the next Godzilla review? Oh, I knew that was coming. All right, let me get this out of the way right now. Sooner than you think. Let me just put it that way. When's the next Godzilla vid? I wonder how many times I'm gonna get asked that in this stream. Thank you for the donation, Dio Brando. Chocolate milk or strawberry milk? Chocolate. I think I've maybe had strawberry milk once in my entire life. Let's see. When's Phantom of the Paradise? Yeah, that's another one I want to get to very soon. I don't know if I'm going to get to it this year, but next year I want to definitely get to that one. Let's see, who's your favorite Godzilla kaiju besides the obvious? Okay, I'm assuming by the obvious you mean Godzilla. Favorites are probably Mechagodzilla. I'm going to go with the 70s version just because that's the first one I saw. Let's see who else. I like Gigan just because of how weird he is. So hopefully those two aren't obvious choices. Let's see. Any directors or filmmakers you want to cover but haven't yet? I've done one movie by him, but another guy I want to get to more is Jess Franco. He's the Spanish director who made, I think, like 200 movies through his entire career. There was one year, I think it was in the 70s, where he made 13 movies in 1 year, so I got a lot to work with there. I definitely want to do more of his stuff. Also, hang on a second. I'm having trouble keeping up with the questions here. Freeblade Invictus, thank you so much for the chat donation. And, oh, no question? Just, yeah. Well, thank you. Glad you like my videos. Did you know there was a Gate 2? Yes, I have it, and the next time I do a Canuxploitation-a-thon, that's probably going to be on there. Who do you think would win in a fight, Guiron or Gigan? Probably Gigan, because Guiron's a Gamera monster, and they're a lot... Other than the 90s Gamera movies, the Gamera monsters are way goofier than even the goofiest Godzilla ones. Let's see... Everyone spam Godzilla. Yeah, I think that's what everyone's doing so far. I loved you in Dexter. Well, thank you. Is there a review I wish I could have a second go at? Yeah, pretty much all of my early ones. Any of the ones I made from when I started to about probably 2014. I wish I could do those again. Just for technical reasons and so I could rewrite them, but you know, it is what it is. Nicholas Esposito, thanks for the donation. What got me into cult movies? Just, you know, the usual, watching movies on cable like TBS and TNT, and then renting horror movies and sci-fi movies from the local video store. I'll bet you anybody in my age range that's into movies like that has the same answer. Why am I the best movie review channel? Well, I don't think I am. I think Red Letter Media is one that's better than me, but I appreciate that. Ever get a review blocked? Yeah, lots. Pretty much anytime I upload a Toho movie, it gets blocked, so I have to re-upload it with text over the part that got blocked. Do I have a favorite review on my channel? I don't know. I really like the Once Upon a Girl video just because, you I have that little skit at the end with the where I'm arguing with the troll. But I realize a lot of people have a hard time getting through that one just because of what the movie's like. Have I ever watched the Violence Jack anime? No, I have not. The Turkish ripoffs got blocked too. Yeah, that just happened recently. Some Turkish company is blocking a lot of my Turkish videos. That's a big reason why I haven't done a Turkish movie in a long time. Let's see. Silver Bullet's my best episode? Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Have I ever seen the movie with killer rabbits? I'm assuming you mean Night of the Lepus, and yes, I do have a copy of that one. What is your favorite American football team? I don't know. Dallas Cowboys, I guess. Whatever. Thoughts on Primus Band? Well, Les Claypool's a phenomenal bass player. He's one of those guys that's just on a whole nother level. As far as the band, they're not my favorite, but I realize that they're very creative, and it's pretty amazing that they were able to get as popular as they did in the 90s, considering how weird their music is. When am I going to do another Jurassic Park ripoff? I don't know, I guess when they come out with Jurassic World 3 or whatever. Favorite rock band? Probably Queens of the Stone Age, and if you can see on my shirt, I'm wearing a Caius shirt, which is the band that Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age was in before Queens of the Stone Age. They're also a great band. If you haven't heard of them and you're a fan of stoner rock, as they call it, check them out. Am I ever going to review Godzilla's Revenge? Yes, eventually. May take a while, but I will. Thank you, Angry Liquid. How long does it take to make a review video? It really depends. The shortest one was Turkish Batman. That took me like 3 days, and then the longest ones are like a couple weeks. What's my backlog on Patreon requests like? I am pretty backed up. I'm hoping to open up the request tier on Patreon by the end of the year, but I don't really know. I still have a few to get to. Review more Mexican horror movies. Yeah, that's something I should do. Should do maybe some Mexican nunsploitation ones. Best MST3K episode? Probably Space Mutiny. That'd be my favorite. How old am I? 34. Will I ever review a Godfrey Ho movie? Maybe. Let's see. Thoughts on the upcoming DCEU and Marvel Phase 4 movies? I'm wondering with the Marvel movies if they're eventually going to fizzle out just because there's so many, and then DC, they've been really hit or miss, so I don't know. Dylan Adams, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it. 34, I look young. Well, thank you. Any of Peter Jackson's early stuff? Yeah, another thing I'd like to do is a Peter Jackson-a-thon where I do all his early movies like Bad Taste and Dead Alive and Meet the Feebles. That's probably a while down the line, though. Let's see. Thoughts on Roger Corman's Edgar Allan Poe adaptations? Mask of the Red Death, that one in particular, is probably the best movie Corman ever directed. Megan, hey, good to see you. And if you're wondering where Shelly is, I don't know. She's probably sleeping somewhere. But I appreciate the donation. Hopefully you'll see her at some point. Let's see. Mateus Prado. Have I watched Russian sci-fi? I've seen clips of like some of the older ones made in the Soviet Union. A lot of those were cannibalized for American movies in the 60s. As far as new stuff, not really. Will I ever do a review of Miracle Mile 1988? I've never heard of it, so that's probably probably a long way down the line. Am I going to review the other Gamera movies? Yeah, probably. I'll probably do the 90s Gamera movies at some point. Have I seen the trailer to New Black Christmas? They're remaking it again? Shit, I didn't know that. Do a review on an asylum film. That's something I've thought about a lot, but it that almost seems too easy. It's almost like shooting fish in a barrel. So I'd rather do some other stuff. Plus, there's so many to pick from. Will I review Halloween? Now, do you mean the original or the Rob Zombie one? Because a lot of people have talked shit about the Rob Zombie one, but there aren't too many people that have done the original. I did Halloween 3. If I did do another Halloween movie, it'd probably be one of the sequels, not the original. Thank you for the donation, Dustin Vickery. Angry Liquid. How do I decide on what movie to review? It's it's really just what I feel like at the moment, and then depending on what Patreon requests I've got coming up, it's sort of I might do something that kind of fits in with something like that. That's basically it. What is your favorite cult slasher and big name slasher? Well, if it counts as a cult slasher, Black Christmas, just because that was so influential. That was, arguably the first one and not Halloween. And then big name slasher. I don't know. Halloween, maybe? Thank you for the donation, Brother Malachi. Make more Daikaiju reviews. Yeah, there's more coming, I promise. Ever thought of reviewing Ray Harryhausen films? Well, I did do the top 10. I've kind of thought about doing one of the movies individually, like maybe one of the Sinbad movies. If I did do a Harryhausen movie, one of those would probably be first. Favorite zombie film? If it counts, Evil Dead, but if not, then Dawn of the Dead. Thank you, Red Siegfried, for the donation. Schlock Jocks, would you ever do any David Cronenberg movies like Videodrome? Yeah. I've thought about putting a Cronenberg movie in my next Conexploitation-a-thon. It'd probably be one of his earlier ones, like Rabid or The Brood or Shivers, one of those. Mike Bassett, Banana Splits review? What, you mean the new horror movie one? I don't know, it's a little too new. I might have to wait for that one. Farron, hope this can pay for some maple syrup. Well, thank you. Josh Batten, thoughts on doing any Hammer stuff? Yeah, I've done some Hammer stuff in the past. It's been a while, though. I haven't done one in a long time. Hammer is a company I should definitely get back to. Especially since, they're famous for the Frankenstein and Dracula movies, but they have so many movies that a lot of people haven't even heard of, the Reptile or ones like that. Thank you, Dirty Serpent. Brother Malachi, would I ever review My Name is Bruce, since Bruce Campbell and Guan Yu of War God and Chinese Religion and History is in it? I've never seen My Name is Bruce. I actually didn't know Guan Yu was in it. I'll have to check that out. Ever thought about reviewing the live-action Gundam movie G-Savior? Again, that's another one I haven't seen. A lot of the live-action, actually made in Japan anime adaptations I haven't seen. So if I did review any of, the big franchises, I'd probably do the actual anime versions first. Will I do a Ninja Scroll review? Yeah, if I did another anime movie, that's one I'd like to do for sure. Will I do Son of the Mask? That's too easy. I mean, it is a piece of shit, but picking on it's way too easy. Planning on reviewing Hanuman versus Seven Riders. Yeah, I got a copy of it. So I might do that. Ever thought of collabing with Anime America? When it comes to crossovers, I just kind of assume people are busy and wait for them to come to me. Actually, I just sent in footage for a cameo that should hopefully be coming out pretty soon. So I'll keep you updated on that. What do I use to edit my videos? Just Adobe Premiere Elements. It's cheap. I think it's like 99 bucks to get the newest version. And it's pretty basic, but it provides everything I need. I don't think I need the full Adobe Premiere Pro. Chris Kittinger, have I ever done any acting? Yeah, I went to I took film in school and I acted in some shorts there, but that's basically it. Favorite Japanese horror films? Well, I mean, for the obvious, there's the original, like, Ringu. Audition is great. It's another one. Let's see. Dirty Serpent. Will I review the Masters of the Universe movie? Maybe, but I'd like to get to the last Tobe Hooper canon movie, Invaders from Mars, first. Yeah, Smash Guy, I know Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires is fucked up. I just need to take the time to upload a new version and fix it. If I did do that, I'd like to possibly make the video a bit more HD since I didn't have an HD copy of the movie at the time. I want to know why there are never things on your walls. I do have posters, but they're not in my room. They're in other places in my house. Ever thought of reviewing Listomania? Oh, man. Yeah, that movie is fucking crazy. Yeah, it's... I don't know, maybe this is arrogance on my part, but if I ever did that, I'd love to talk to Roger Daltrey about the process of making that. Because holy shit, that's one of those movies that it only could have gotten made when it was made. That is so just 70s drug-fueled weirdness. Konstantin Kaleparis, hopefully I said that right. Eastern Condors would be perfect for your show. I've never heard of that, but thanks for the suggestion and the donation. Have I ever considered reviewing the Hammer Dracula films? Again, if I did another Hammer movie, it'd probably be one of the lesser-known, weirder ones. Like, I did Lost Continent. That was one of the first videos I ever did. It'd probably be movies like that. Have you ever seen MacGruber? Oh, you were in it? Wow, okay. I actually liked MacGruber. I thought it was funny. A lot of people didn't like that movie, but... yeah, it's cool you were in it, man. Stephen Davis, thank you very much for the donation. Brother Malachi, I know you potentially lose money when you have to re-edit an old video instead of a new one. So here's another donation to help with the finances to patch up Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. Well, I don't lose money, it just takes time to do it. But I appreciate the donation, thank you. Anime Child, I should review Scream Time from 1983. That is another one I've never heard of, so thank you for the suggestion. Have I heard of an animated film called The Haunted World of El Super Beasto? Yeah, I was in a crossover with this channel called Stupid Moose Reviews, and I think the video got blocked pretty quickly, so not a lot of people have seen it. But yeah, I did a full crossover on that entire movie. Oh man, would I ever consider reviewing Uratsuki Doji? That would probably get age restricted, if not blocked right away. And I'd have to, work overtime on the black boxes with that one. Favorite Nine Inch Nail song? Reptile, maybe? Would I ever do a Neil Breen movie? I actually did a Geek Juice live stream of Pass Through, and I'm probably going to do another live stream of another Neil Breen movie on Geek Juice pretty quick, so watch out for that. Kid Zoom, who would you like to collab with? Like I said before, Red Letter Media is a good channel. What else? George Rockall Schmidt or Rockall Schmidt. I'm not sure. I always forget how to pronounce it correctly. He's got a great channel. I don't know if a collab would go over very well, but those are definitely guys whose work I admire. Let's see. HKP30, would I ever do Prince of Darkness? Yep. Yeah, that's one I definitely do. That's one of, I think that's one of John Carpenter's underrated movies, personally. Who's the worst Kenny of all? Uh, Probably the one from Gamera versus Zigra, at least in the dub, because his voice is really annoying. Rank 'em Knight of the Demons, Demons, and Demon Knight. Okay, that'd probably go. I think Demon Knight would be my favorite, followed by. Man. Probably Demon Knight, and then Demons, followed closely by Knight of the Demons. Knight of the Demons and Demons are both close, though. Will I review Land Before Time? Probably not on that one. When it comes to family-friendly animated movies, they gotta be sort of unknown and weird. That one's a little too popular. Favorite John Carpenter flick? The Thing, easily. That's one of the best sci-fi horror movies ever, in my opinion. Are there any new Autopilot albums on the horizon? Yeah, they're still making music. I haven't been with them for a couple years now, but the band is still going. Let's see. I gotta know, how does Surf Nazis Must Die rank on your list? You know what? I saw that movie in the video store when I was a kid, and I never rented it. So to this day, I've never seen it. Favorite Carnosaur movie? Probably the second one. Even though it's a blatant knockoff of Aliens, I think that's the most entertaining. Let's see. Thoughts on Streets of Fire and would I review it? Yeah, I might do that one. That's a tricky one to that would be a tricky one to do just cuz it's like a relatively high budget studio film that's so weird and unlike anything else but so 80s. Let's see. Nicholas Esperanto, last one because I got to go. Favorite 70s 80s classic remake. Now, do you mean a movie from the 70s and 80s that got remade now, or a movie that, like a remake from the 70s and 80s of an older one? Because if it's the second one, I'd say there's The Thing, there's Cronenberg's The Fly, there's the 80s version of The Blob. There's tons of those. And then 80s remake to now, I don't know. A lot of them have been really just boring. Like there's the RoboCop remake and stuff. So I don't know if I have a if it's the first part, I don't know if I have an answer to that one. Favorite Transformers characters? The Dinobots, for obvious reasons. Let's see. What's the worst movie I've ever reviewed? I'm gonna have to think about that, but once I get done my 200th episode, I'm gonna redo the best and worst movies I've ever done list, so you'll know then. Have I heard of a movie called Bahubali from India? No, I actually have not seen that many Indian movies. That's why I've also never done an Indian movie on my channel. It's another one I gotta get to. Thing is, they're really long, and I'm not into musicals. Would I ever review any 80s canon movies? I have. My 100th episode was Life Force, and I've done Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Those are both canon movies. Goji Bomb 92. I think you would like the movie Galgameth. Okay. Thanks for that. What shirt am I wearing? Again, Kai's. They're a band from the 90s. Favorite Soundgarden song? 4th of July is a lesser known one that's really good. So I'll say that. Favorite Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode? I already answered this, but Space Mutiny. Would I ever do an 80s remake marathon like The Thing, The Fly, and The Blob? Actually, what I'd probably do instead is just a top 10 of just best horror sci-fi remakes. That's probably more likely. Would I review any Shaw Brothers Kung Fu flicks? Yeah, I've got a couple of those. I've got Master of the Flying Guillotine and Five Element Ninja. Can I review more Filipino movies? I've got a couple. A lot of them are American movies that were shot in the Philippines. But I've got, like, I think Up From the Depths is a Filipino-American one. Favorite movies that aren't horror or sci-fi? Let's see. Apocalypse Now. That's a good one. Dollman. Yeah, there's lots of full moon movies I should do, like Demonic Toys and all those. You versus Razor Fist in Escape from New York baseball bat death match. Who wins? I don't know, probably Razor Fist. He seems like the kind of guy that'd be good at that sort of thing. Least favorite MST3K episode. Oh man, I don't even know. Probably one of the like the KTMA when they were just like starting out on cable access. Favorite Godzilla version? Probably the Heisei version. I think that's the best design, like the design that was introduced in Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Family Guy or South Park? South Park. Rank 'em: Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Godzilla 2014, Shin Godzilla. Um, Honestly, I think King of the Monsters in 2014 would probably be tied, and then Shin Godzilla a little below them. Do I ever listen to King Diamond? The falsetto's a little too much for me. It's a little hard to take sometimes. Let's see. What's the best rip-off movie I've seen? I don't know. Guess it depends on your definition of a rip-off. I guess Hardware's a good one since that ripped off the 2000 AD story. Would I ever collab with Razor Fists? Well, does he do stuff like me? I thought it was mostly like rant videos. Again, with crossovers and stuff, I kind of wait for people to come to me because, like I said, I assume people are busy and have better things to do with their time than make videos with me. Have you considered Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man? That's the Andrew Dice Clay movie, right? I don't think I've ever seen that movie all the way through. Is that the right one? I think that's the Andrew Dice Clay one. Ever seen Prophecy with Talia Shire? Yeah, and that's coming to Blu-ray pretty quick, so I'll probably do that fairly soon. Any chance for the rest of the Night of the Demons movies this October? Maybe. Would you ever review Virus? Yes, that's actually coming up at some point. What is the worst Elm Street film in my opinion? Freddy's Dead, I'd say. I know it's the standard answer, but there's a reason for that. Mickey Rourke and Okay. Oh, Ford Fairlane's Dice Clay, right. Alright, I got him mixed up. What are my thoughts on Godzilla vs. Kong? I'm excited to see it. I'm a little worried just because King of the Monsters didn't do that well compared to Godzilla 2014, so I'm kind of worried it might bomb. You know, when it comes to giant monster fights, they're more of a cult thing. They're not exactly mainstream stuff that Americans want to see. Your internet sucks. Yeah. Canada does not have great internet. When's the next Canucksploitation? It's actually a goal on Patreon, so that should be coming up fairly quick. Do I like Cloverfield? Yeah, Cloverfield was pretty good. For found footage, I think Wreck was a lot better. Do your videos get copyright claimed? Yeah, that happens quite a bit. Usually, if it does happen, I'll try and upload another version that will try and pass through, but it's not always a guarantee. Have I considered reviewing the Netflix Death Note movie? Again, I'd probably do some more vintage anime before I do any of the modern American live action versions. Dumbest movie I review, but I still like. Challenge of the Tiger, maybe? That's a really dumb movie, but it's very entertaining. Favorite cheesy 50s sci-fi movie? Probably just any monster movie that isn't a Ray Harryhausen one. They kind of all fit in there, like Monster That Challenged the World. Thank you, Constantine Kaleparis. Eastern Condors is Sammo Hung's Rambo Hard R. Okay. Thanks for that. What's my favorite anime film? Akira's a good one. I know it's a stereotypical answer, but I do like that movie. Ghost in the Shell, Ninja Scroll, a lot of the big ones. I like the more violent ones than the Studio Ghibli ones. Favorite Kaya song? Demon Cleaner, maybe? Let's see. Ever watched Dragon Ball Z? Yeah, I watched that a little bit when I was a kid. Do I dislike Tarantino? No, I like Tarantino. I joke about him, but I like him. Do I plan on reviewing Demon City Shinjuku? Yeah, I've got a copy of that. Still getting when's the next Godzilla review questions. Bloodiest movie ever? Well, I think it's in the Guinness Book of Records is Dead Alive. Let's see. Thank you, Mr. Melange. Ever see Humanoids from the Deep? Yep. And it's got Doug McClure in it. What's the Psych audio clip I use from? That's Dave Chappelle, and I'm not sure, it's some like awards thing or something, but he comes on after Most Def and does like a poetry thing called Fuck Ashton Kutcher, so just look that up and you'll see it. Let's see, would I ever review Gymkata? Now, is that similar to... Is that a newer movie or is that an 80s one? I'm not sure which one I'm thinking of here. Have you or would I review the movie Heavy Metal? That's one I really want to, but anything with music, like any popular songs in it, is just a nightmare as far as copyright, so that would probably get claimed really, really fast. What is my theme music? It's actually just some copyright-free stuff you can get on YouTube called Proctor. So if you look in YouTube for their music, just look for that. Do I edit my videos myself? Yes, I do all the editing. Would I ever review more Ralph Bakshi? Yeah, I'd probably have to do something like Fire and Ice, just because his other movies, again, they'd probably get age restricted or blocked, so I'd have to do one of the more PG ones. Any new music from your band coming up? Like I said, I haven't been with Autopilot for a couple years, but the band is still going and they're still producing music. Any video that got a copyright claim that didn't get re-uploaded? Yeah, I think some of the Turkish ones have been blocked, and I haven't re-uploaded. I tried to re-upload Turkish Superman, but it just kept getting blocked. Let's see. So Cool World would be considered for a review? Yeah, the only thing is so many other people have done that one. I'd probably rather do Fire and Ice. Let's see. Are zombie films overrated? Well, there's definitely a whole lot of them recently. I will say they're overrepresented, probably. Ever heard of Hide and Creep from 2004? No, haven't heard of that one. Japanese Spider-Man review. The trouble with doing TV shows is you got to watch so many episodes and edit them all together into one video. That's why I like concentrating on movies. So I probably wouldn't do that one unless there's like a movie version of that I don't know about. Thank you, Eric Q. Would I do a disaster cult movie? You mean something like Earthquake? Yeah. Yeah, I might do something like that, or Towering Inferno. Ash guy, favorite was Korean Tron. She died in a... Oh, wow. I'm sorry about that, man. Any Sonny Chiba films coming? I do have all the Street Fighter movies, so those would probably be first. Ever thought about doing Kill Bill? That's a little too popular. I probably won't do any Tarantino movies. I should do The Prophecy. I'm assuming you mean the Man Bear Pig one. Yeah, that's definitely on my list. Thank you, S. Michael Harden. Would I be up for reviewing Pulgasari? Absolutely. It's the most famous North Korean monster movie ever made. Thought about doing House 1977. Yeah, actually, when I did the Patreon request for House, he said you could. He said pick either one, and I thought the Japanese one was too obvious, so I picked the '80s one. Let's see. Please review Devilman from 2004. I've heard of that one. I don't know much about it other than Bob Sapp the fighter is in it, and it's apparently really shitty. But I don't have a copy of it as of right now. Indian Harry Potter or Nigerian Titanic? I've never seen either one, but they both sound amazingly weird. Favorite Chow Yun Fat film? Hard Boiled. It's also my favorite John Woo movie. Are there any cutoff dates for movies to review? It's not so much about when they were made, it's just how popular they are. Like, I'll do something made in the last couple years if it's sort of lesser known. But if it's like, you know, something that got a mainstream theatrical release that came out in the last couple of years, that's probably off the table. Thoughts on doing Night of the Creeps? That's coming up. Favorite Spielberg film? Maybe Jaws? Or Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's another good one. Ever seen Deadly Friend? Yes, and it has easily the best basketball death of any movie ever. Have I ever played any Godzilla video games? Yeah, I played the one that was put out for the NES way back when, and I remember I couldn't get very far into it, and I played a couple of the fighting games that were released for like the PS2 and GameCube. That's about it, though. Favorite full moon movie? I was gonna say From Beyond, but I think that was Empire. For full moon, I don't know which ones are Empire and which ones are full moon, so I'd have to look that up. So King Kong 76 or Peter Jackson's King Kong? Are you asking which one I like better or which one I do? Because I like the Peter Jackson one better, but if as far as being featured on my show, probably the 76 version. Would I be surprised if Toho considered a Bride of Godzilla at one point? Wow. Okay, I'm a little disappointed they didn't do that. What would that be? Another the same Godzilla suit just with lipstick and big eyelashes? Maybe a little bow on his head, or her head. Who do you think is the thing at the end of the Carpenter movie? Well, according to the game that came out, it was Childs. But the wonderful thing about the movie is you don't know. And either way, both of them are fucked. I like a nice nihilistic ending like that. Oh, Bride of Godzilla was going to be a robot. Wow. What's the worst movie I've ever seen? When I do that, worst movies I've reviewed, whatever's number one on that, you can just say that. See, Ice Pirates, again, that's another one I've been wanting to do for a long time. I am going to get to that one eventually. Do Zardoz. Oh, man. Yeah, that's, I've kind of wanted to do an artsy, sort of more pretentious cult film for a while. I just gotta pick which one. What's the worst Godzilla movie I've ever watched? Well, I think you know the answer to that. Thank you, Nathan Kino. Again, I said earlier I want to do Phantom of the Paradise. Probably won't get to it this year, but next year I'm hoping to. Horror series you think is due for a revival? Just wonder. I'm trying to think about which ones are still going. Because they're still making Tremors movies, even if they're just direct to streaming or direct to video. I don't know. Maybe keep going with the Night of the Demons rather than that remake they made. Would I do any more British sex comedies? Yeah, but they'd probably have to have some sci-fi or horror elements to them. To them. Would I review Terrifier? Never heard of that one, so I don't know. Tales from the Hood and Candyman. I'd probably do Tales from the Hood before I did Candyman. Or if I did, I might do Candyman just as an excuse to get to Candyman for Farewell to the Flesh, because that's a lot worse than the first Candyman. Which era of Godzilla movies is your favorite? Probably the Heisei. I like Godzilla 1985 for being dark, and then some of the later ones struck a good balance between being colorful but not super goofy. Strangest horror film plot twist. I don't know about strangest, but one of the best is the end to Sleepaway Camp. What's your opinion on Rob Zombie horror films? I like some of them. I felt like again, like a lot of people, his Halloween remakes, especially the second one, just was kind of. It almost felt like a goth art, like film school students' music video at some points. Which version of the first Godzilla will I review, 1954 or the 56 King of the Monsters? Probably King of the Monsters. It was the first version I saw. Would I do more westerns? Yeah, but they'd have to be weird westerns. It couldn't just be a standard one. Favorite Canadian horror film? Again, probably Black Christmas. That's one. Not only is it a good Canadian horror movie, it's just one of the best slasher movies ever. Will I ever review banned films like Cannibal Holocaust? Maybe. I'd probably do another Italian jungle exploitation movie first, just because Cannibal Holocaust is a little too obvious. Am I going to do any more giallos? Yeah, that's another genre I haven't done in a while and should probably get to. I just gotta pick which one. Why is your room so Spartan? Eh, just the way it is. I like to put my stuff in other places. How do I feel about the Godzilla Millennium films? I wasn't a big fan of Godzilla's look in those. I didn't like the overly spiky look to him. Some of the movies were pretty good, though. Scariest Italian horror movie. Um, Well, I don't know about scariest, but a lot of people, whenever anybody mentions Dario Argento, they always mention Suspiria, but one that kind of gets overlooked is Deep Red. If you haven't seen that one and you're into Italian horror, I'd say check that one out. Have I heard of the superhero movie Armicron in Outlaw Power? Nope, can't say I have. Thank you so much, Stitch Snow. Good morning. Okay, I'm assuming you're over in Europe somewhere. Would I ever review Midnight Ride? I love how it's basically a live-action version of Mark Hamill's Joker. Okay. I did not know that. Is Mark Hamill actually in it, or does somebody else do it? Have I seen Troll 2? Yeah, of course. Will I review any movies on the Video Nasty list? Have I not already? Probably done a couple. I think Bloody Moon was on there for sure. What movie critics do I like? I don't know if he counts, but I mean, Joe Bob's obviously great. Would I ever review Planet of the Vampires? Yeah, absolutely. Will I ever do Godzilla 1998? Maybe, because it's over 20 years old at this point. I think enough time's passed. Would I ever review J-horror movies like Ringu? Yep. Yep. Probably wouldn't be Ringu, though, just because that's the obvious choice. Thoughts on the Creepshow reboot? Well, a show is a good format for that. I mean, I don't know why they did Creepshow and not Tales from the Dark Side, but whatever. I haven't seen any of the episodes of it, but it could be good. Akira next. No, it's not Akira. I just used the music because it's dramatic. I'm loving your shirt. Well, thank you. Would I review the Evil Dead films? Yeah, I might. And another person asked would I do Tremors. The trouble with that is it's a commitment, because once I do one, I'm going to have to do all of them. And people are going to be asking when the next one is right away. Anime Child. Question from Love Train. Do you like tokusatsu stuff like Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Ultraman, etc.? Like a lot of people my age, I watched Power Rangers a bit when I was a kid, and then some Ultraman stuff, but that's basically it. I haven't seen any of the other stuff. Even when I was a kid, I didn't watch, like, VR Troopers or any of those other shows. Thoughts on Saberspark reviewing Once Upon a Girl tomorrow? Hey, good on somebody else for trying to do that movie. Would I review Class of Nukem High? Yeah, I don't think I've ever done well, I did The Children, which was a Trauma release, but I don't think they actually made it. I think that was a movie that they just picked up and released. Any opinion about Eddie Murphy playing Dolomite? Could be funny. I think, isn't Wesley Snipes in that movie too? Am I still in a band? No, I haven't been in a band for a couple years now. Would I review Inbred? Again, never heard of that one. Sounds like it's something that probably get age restricted. Would I ever review Andy Warhol's Frankenstein or Dracula? Don't think I've ever seen the Dracula one. The Frankenstein one is the one with Udo Kier in it, right? Am I thinking of the right one? Will I ever review Jaws movies? I'd probably do some Jaws ripoffs first, like Orca or Tentacles or stuff like that. What about Street Trash? Yeah, that's another one. Why did I leave my band? Unless you're in a really popular band, it is very, very hard to forget making money. It's hard to just not lose money while you're on tour. And at this point in my life, I just can't not make money for 3 or 4 months out of the year. Orca was surprisingly good. Yeah, I like that they made the Orca the good guy and the humans the bad guy in it. Maxoman 8888. When will the $30 tier not be sold out anymore? I'm hoping by the end of the year, but I don't know. Ever thought about doing The Man Who Fell to Earth? That's a tough one because it is a weird movie, but it's a good weird movie, and it's a more artsy weird movie. So that would be I'd have to find a new way to sort of go about doing the review. Will I review any films in the Kerberos saga? Never seen it, so probably not. Would I ever review the body horror movie Society? Yeah, that's another one that again I probably have to think about where to put the black boxes since a lot of the, you know, would I have to blur out the guy's face when it's on the ass? I don't know. SNES or Sega Genesis or NES? Probably Genesis. If it's Genesis and SNES, then SNES. Any more Korean films? I might do the original Yongari at some point. That'd probably be the next Korean movie I do. Thank you, Anime Child. Ju-on from 2000 would be a good J horror to do because it's low budget but still scary. Yeah, that's kind of the second most well-known one after Ringu. Let's see. Alan Cohn, I would like to see your take on the Australian movie Hercules Returns. Okay, I've never even heard of that one. I should probably do an Australian like Ozploitation-a-thon at some point. Do like Razorback or something. Favorite Friday the 13th film? Honestly, out of all the major slasher series, Friday the 13th is easily my least favorite. Even like the first Friday the 13th, I think it's okay, but I think the best Nightmare on Elm Street movies and the best Halloween movies are a lot better. Thank you, Indy Keegan. I'd drink a beer with you for sure. All right, I appreciate that. I would love to see you review Night of the Dribbler. Okay, is that a porn parody? Would I consider doing heavy metal for the 200th episode? I've already picked what I'm going to do for my 200th episode. It's actually not heavy metal, even though I teased that earlier. But I might get to heavy metal at some point. Shadow Rift, you and Monster Island Buddies need to collab. Well, I got good news for you. We already have. It just hasn't come out yet. What's my criteria for the term exploitation? Just any weird, sci-fi, horror, martial arts, just something that's a little off the beaten path, usually a little sleazy. Shadow Rift, both of you guys versus Godzilla's Revenge. Nope, that's not it, but I think you'll like what we're doing instead. Did I ever see Graveyard Shift? I'm assuming you mean the giant rat movie with Brad Dourif. Saw that on TBS way back when. I think it was probably edited though. TBS did that a lot to horror movies. What are your thoughts on doing the Blackula movies? I'd probably do some. If I did do some blaxploitation movies, I'd probably do some other ones first. Because there's a lot of really weird blaxploitation movies that people don't even know about. Cube review. Another thing I've thought about doing is doing a top 10 Canadian sci-fi horror movies list, and I'd probably put Cube on that. I don't know if I do a full video though. The Howling 3, never seen it. Apparently it's slightly better than Howling 2 though. Ever seen The Relic? Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I just remember thinking the monster was awesome when I first saw it. Who makes my thumbnails? I actually have a few artists who do that. If you look in the credits of each video, I put the artist there. But there's usually about 4 people that I kind of alternate back and forth with. That's why the style is different. Do I have plans to do the Towering Inferno, Earthquake, and Avalanche? I don't have any plans to do them at this point, but they're not off the table. Would I do a riff on the Harry Potter movie? Or, sorry. Oh, do a riff on more Harryhausen movies. Uh, yeah, I might do. I might do like one of the Sinbad movies at some point. Have I seen Midsommar or Hereditary? Haven't seen Midsommar. Hereditary I liked. I don't know if I think it's like the greatest horror movie ever, like some people are saying though, but I did like it. Let's see. What about a review on Meteor, the Sean Connery film? Oh man, I remember taping that off TV a long time ago when I was a kid, and I thought it was boring as hell when I watched it back then. Thought about doing less popular Carpenter movies like Village of the Damned or Vampires. I'd probably do his one of his '80s ones before his '90s ones if I did a John Carpenter movie. Let's see, Terrorizer or Pennywise. How about Killjoy, the full moon monster clown? Thank you, Trillion Astra, even though you don't have a question. Thought on review on any Ed Wood films? My thoughts on that are the same as doing an Asylum movie. It's a little too obvious and easy. Just because, especially Plan 9, it's been so done at this point. Do some of the original Ultraman episodes. I probably wouldn't do any of the episodes of the show. I'd probably do another one of the, like a real version of one of the movies if I ever did that. Will I ever get to Rock and Roll Nightmare 2? Yeah, I do have that, and that's almost one that would need to be like an anniversary 2-part episode, because there is a lot to comment on that movie. Ever considered reviewing other Toho films like Space Amoeba, Three Treasures, etc., or is there a chance for those to get copyright claim too? Yeah, I'd assume Toho's attitude is the same for any of their movies, regardless of if they're Godzilla movies or not. Let's see. Who's your favorite monster next to Godzilla? Probably King Kong. Nathan Kino, ever consider experimenting into a horror game review? I probably wouldn't do a review. I've been meaning to start streaming on Twitch. At some point, I just gotta get to it. I'd probably do like a horror game if I did that. Godzilla or Kong 2020? I'm cheering for Godzilla. I think he's the one who should win. Have I been to a convention since my last live stream? No, I've actually never been to a convention in my entire life, not even as an attendee. So that's another thing I gotta scratch off my bucket list. Rebirth of Mothra trilogy. Yeah, that's another one people request a whole lot. They probably ask why it wasn't a Godzilla video. Let's see. Stefano, how much time does it take to make an episode between making the script, filming, and editing? It really varies. The Turkish movies are really easy just because it's, you can make the fake subs and it's easy to comment on them. For the bigger ones, like the Life Force video, that took longer. That was like a couple weeks. Thought about doing any silent films like The Golem. That's really tricky because a lot of the video I'm reacting to lines of dialogue and stuff. It'd be kind of hard to react to those little like title cards with what the characters are saying. Will I review Island of the Fishmen? Now, is that the one that was called, that was retitled Screamers? Because if so, that's another one I'm probably going to get to pretty quick. What about doing Wolf Cop, or is it too soon? Again, that might be in like a top 10 like Canadian horror movies list. Where and how do you find the movie things? I really want to torture myself but can't find. Oh, you mean the actual movie things? There were DVDs of it on Amazon you could find. And I think it was on YouTube for a little bit. Maybe they took it down. But I'm pretty sure if you go to Amazon, you can get some DVDs of it. Thoughts on reviewing God Told Me To. Yeah, I've done two. I've done Q the Winged Serpent and The Stuff. And if I did, my next Larry Cohen movie would probably be It's Alive. I'd probably do that before God Told Me To. Godzilla 1998 or King Kong Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson's King Kong was way too long, and it did have a lot of flaws, but it was still truer to the character than the 1998 Godzilla was. Would I ever review Grindhouse? Nah, that's, even though it is technically an exploitation movie, it is still a relatively recent, bigger budgeted major studio exploitation movie. So I probably won't do any Tarantino stuff. Thank you, Trillion Astra. Ever thought of doing Peter Jackson's Bad Taste or Alex Copp's Repo Man? Yeah, I said earlier that I'd like to do a whole like marathon of Peter Jackson's early stuff. Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Yeah, it was split into two parts, but on Geek Juice we did a live stream of that. I can't remember on one of them. The first part was on Phantom of the Paradise, and then I can't remember what part 2 was in front of. I'd have to look that up. Thoughts on Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019? I saw it, and I'm actually thinking of doing a video for Patreon on it. Not like a fully edited video, but just a vlog review. I will say this, for anybody who complained that there wasn't enough Godzilla or there just wasn't enough monster stuff in the 2014 Godzilla, oh boy did they listen, because there is way more monster stuff in this one. What do I think of the original Wicker Man? I like it for how weird it is, but it's weird to see people calling it a horror classic because it's not really a horror movie. It's just a weird musical, like it's one of those movies that just, it defies easy categorization. But if you told people like, yeah, this is one of the greatest horror movies ever made, and then people start singing, a lot of them might go like, what the hell is this? I thought you said it was a horror movie. Will I ever review Lamberto Bava's Demons 2? Yeah, probably sooner than you think. Favorite Hammer film? Maybe the first Dracula with Christopher Lee. Just because Christopher Lee is one of my favorite Draculas ever. Where would I rate King of the Monsters in my top 10 Godzilla movies? I don't know. I'd have to really think about that. Let's see. Planning on reviewing Caveman with Ringo Starr. Yeah, I haven't done a dinosaur movie in a while. That would be a weird one to pick, though. Trick or Treat 1986 or Firestarter? Are you talking which one I prefer? Because I don't think I've seen like pieces of Firestarter when it was on TBS, but I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing. Will I review Godzilla Millennium series? Yeah, eventually. What is my favorite Gamera villain? I like Guiron just for how goofy and weird he is. So maybe him. Howling 6, there is a 6. Yeah, I believe it. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there was more than 6. Any countries you haven't reviewed a movie from that I'd like to? Yeah, I should probably get to an Indian movie one of these days. That's probably the biggest one that I haven't gotten to yet. What time is it there? It's 8 o'clock. Do you dislike Gamera or are you just indifferent? No, the 90s Gamera movies are actually good. But I mean, as far as the comparing the originals to Godzilla, I think Godzilla's way better. Am I going to review the rest of the House movies? Maybe, but it's probably going to take a while. I probably won't do a marathon of all those. I'll probably just, do 2 and then wait a while and then do the third one and. Hey, Ricky, good to see you. My Hooks and Fangs is one of my title card artists. Thoughts on the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla cartoon? Never really watched it. I watched a little bit of the cartoon that was based off the 1998 Godzilla. Thoughts on Burial Ground, Captain Kronos... I'm assuming you mean Captain Kronos and American Pop. I've never seen Burial Ground. American Pop was okay, but it's definitely not my favorite Bakshi movie. And Captain Kronos, that's Hammer, right? If I did with the next Hammer movie I review, it's probably going to be that one. Transformers 80s movie or new movies? Oh, 80s ones. The 80s one has its problems, but it's better than the new ones. Have I seen Trancers? No, that's another one that I constantly saw on a video store shelves, but just never got around to renting. Hey, Brandon, do more Toho movies. Yeah, I'm sure Toho would love that. Ever watched Thanksgiving? No, I've heard of that one. I always get Thanksgiving and, Poultrygeist? I get those two mixed up. Thanksgiving, there's like 3 of them, isn't there? Or maybe more. Do you feel that bringing Gamera back now would make studios money? Maybe in Japan. I don't know if they made like an American adaptation or brought him into the Godzilla MonsterVerse thing. I don't know how well that would go over. But in Japan, maybe. That trailer they made a couple years ago, I'm disappointed they never made a full movie out of that. That looked great. Ever watch Kong? I'm assuming you mean Kong Skull Island, the new one. I really like that. As far as just being like a pure, unpretentious giant monster movie, I really enjoyed Kong Skull Island. Ever seen Attack of the Super Monsters? Yep, I have. And I might even do a video of it someday. The Soviet Gamer, maybe Humanoids from the Deep. Definitely, it's got rapey Fishman and Doug McClure, so that's a good candidate for my show. Who's my favorite monster design from Godzilla King of the Monsters? Probably King Ghidorah. Like a lot of people, I think the new Godzilla is a little too fat looking. Am I going to review the rest of the Phantasm movies? Phantasm 2 I'm definitely going to get to. I've actually haven't seen all of the Phantasm films. I haven't seen the newest one. I think I've seen think I've seen up to 3. So I'm probably going to do up to them. I don't know if I'll go past them, though. Am I stoned? No, it's just the lights in my eyes are making me squint. Better washed up actor, Cameron Mitchell or Doug McClure? As far as being a better actor, Doug McClure. As far as being prolific, a prolific washed up actor, then Cameron Mitchell. Would I be interested in a continuation of the Heisei Godzilla movies? At this point, they've already started over, so there's no... I don't think there's much of a point. Them review. Another video I've been thinking about doing is a top 10 50s monster flicks, or top 10 50s sci-fi movies. And if I did do that, them would definitely be on there. Doug McClure movie At the Earth's Core. I already did that one. That was one of the first ones I ever did. Would I review the Marvel movies? The new ones? Probably not. I might do some of the older ones featuring Marvel superheroes. Or the giant Gila monster. Nah, that probably wouldn't be on my top 10 50s monster flicks list. Thought of reviewing Christopher Lee's Christmas album. Didn't know he had a Christmas album. I know he made some metal albums, but didn't know he had a Christmas one. Thank you, fat fucks, for the donation. Would I ever review the third Creature from the Black Lagoon movie? I'd probably have to do the first 2 before that. Oh, is Christopher Lee's... Oh, is the Christmas album a metal Christmas album? Okay. Just to be funny, would I consider reviewing Boo! A Madea Halloween? Nah, I don't think I'm going to do any Tyler Perry movies. Have I ever heard of Korean Terminator? No. Thanks for letting me know that's a thing. Favorite Universal monster movie? Probably Creature from the Black Lagoon, just because it was a bit newer. It was made in the 50s. Those 30s ones, I know they're classics, but they're so old that they come off as very stiff nowadays. Thank you, Henry B. Will I review Extro? That one I'd like to do just because it'd be an opportunity to get to the sequels, because I think it's Extro 2 that has Jan Michael Vincent drunk off his ass and leaning up against everything he can because he can't stand up. I'd like to do that one more than the first one. Have I seen Subspecies? No, that is a Full Moon series that I've never seen any of. Would I ever review Zat? Yeah, I did a live stream on Geek Juice of the whole movie a few months ago. And it might even be on the site now if you look for it. Favorite female horror movie protagonist? Mine is Kirsty from Hellraiser. I don't know if... This probably wouldn't count as horror, but I mean, Ripley from Alien and Aliens is a great one. Pure horror... Does it have to be one that's in more than one movie? Because even in slasher movies, if they make it past one, they usually get killed in whatever the next one is. Not sure if anybody asked you this, but has there ever been a film you refuse to review? Meaning that someone's asked? No. There's movies that I probably wouldn't do, but no, I've never been like asked, hey, can you do this? And I've said, no, I don't want to do that one. Have I watched any of the Netflix MST3K? Yeah, a few of them. It's never going to replace the classic series in my mind. I did think it was funny that the first season they did featured a lot of the movies that I had on my show, though. Movie you've already seen that was the most painful to watch again for a review. I don't know, because I hadn't seen Things before I did the video, and I hadn't seen Star Crash 2. I hadn't seen Ape, hadn't seen Bigfoot. A lot of the really shitty ones I hadn't seen before. Have I seen They Live with Roddy Piper? Yeah, of course I have. Would I do Dead Heat? Is that the 80s one with Joe Piscopo? Thank you for the donation, Pete Cat. What about Sid and Nancy? Nah, that's probably not a good candidate for my show. Ranking of the Godzilla film eras. Probably for me, it'd probably be Heisei, Showa, and then Millennium. Will I review a Netflix original horror films? No, probably not, because again, too new and too... Even the lesser known ones are still a little too well known. I'd love to see you review Grim Prairie Tales. Wow, somebody who's heard of Grim Prairie Tales. I don't even think that one's gotten a DVD release. I think that was just on video. I haven't seen... I rented that a long, long time ago and thought it was really weird. Brad Dourif and James Earl Jones are always great, though. Any kid movies you would consider cult classics? Depends on what your definition of kids film is. Because there's Monster Squad, which is sort of a kids film, but is also has some violent parts. A lot of 80s movies were sort of geared towards kids, but still had some, some scary parts and some violence that maybe wouldn't fly now. But if you do include ones like that, then yeah, that like Monster Squad is one for sure. Do I like Blade 2? Yes, although unlike a lot of people, I actually think I like Blade 1 better. A lot of people like Blade 2 better, but I prefer the first Blade. Am I looking forward to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker? Yeah, that could be interesting, but I'm one of those guys where I don't like having a definitive origin for the Joker. Like even Killing Joke, it's good, but they always present it as maybe this is what's happened. Like he even says sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes I remember it another. So I kind of prefer when the Joker he's just there. He's just this weird, crazy guy, and you don't know who he is or where he came from. Have I ever seen Clutch live? No, and I'm really disappointed because one time when I lived in Calgary, they played a show with Motorhead, and like a dumbass, I didn't go, and that's one of those concerts that I'm just kicking myself for that I didn't see. Would I like to see a Lobo movie? Yes, but only if it's rated R. Yeah, Clutch is badass. If anybody hasn't heard of Clutch, if you like, Queens of the Stone Age style, like that, those kind of bands, Clutch is a great band. Thank you, Walker Taylor. What horror movie do I consider to have the largest impact on me? Carpenter's The Thing is a big one. Probably, and The Thing and Evil Dead 1 and 2. Those would probably be the top three. Here's an obscure one, Within the Woods. Yeah, I've seen that. I don't know why. I don't know why you can only see it on the internet, though. I don't know why they don't put it on an extra on some release of Evil Dead, or at least they hadn't on the copies I got. Why did I decide to become a lumberjack after what happened to Deb? I don't know. It's one of those decisions that people are going to be asking till the end of time. Why did Dexter get such a shitty finale? TJ Reed, thank you. When my old channel was deleted, I replied to one of your tweets. Ever think of doing Buckaroo Banzai? Yeah, that's another one of those sort of quote unquote big '80s cult movies I've been meaning to get to. Where would I rank Phantasm as far as what in the Phantasm series or just in horror overall? If it's in the Phantasm series, I think I like the second one a little bit better than the first one. Which Toho monsters would I like to see in the Monsterverse? I'd like to see Gigan just because I'd like to see how they'd redesign him. Anime Child, wow, you're really going crazy on the Super Chat donations. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. How about reviewing Perfect Blue? I'd probably get to another anime movie like Ninja Scroll before that one. But thanks again for the donation. I really appreciate it, man. And if you're heading out, thanks for joining us. Do I think Space Godzilla will return in the new Godzilla movies? I wouldn't hold my breath for that one. Maybe a cameo. Do I ever plan on doing a Monster Mania or Horror Fest here in New Jersey? Like I said, I've never been to a con in my entire life. If I did go to one, it'd probably have to be a Canadian one first. Unless, I don't know, unless one of those ones invited me or something. Do I play Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy? Never played Fire Emblem, and I think the last Final Fantasy game I played was Final Fantasy VII back whenever that came out. Will I go to G-Fest? Probably not the next one. I'm hoping to go there at some point in the future. What do I think of the new version of the Blue Oyster Cult song Godzilla featuring Serge Tankian? I mean, I like the original better. Three favorite King Kong movies. Well, the first one's easily the best one. And then, jeez, I don't know, are you counting the Japanese ones? Maybe King Kong versus Godzilla second? Ever seen the 1997 movie Jack Frost? Yes, got that from the video store with the cool holographic changing cover. Is The Frighteners a bad enough movie to be considered a good bad flick? I don't know, maybe you should ask Cecil that question. I think The Frighteners is entertaining, for sure. What are my plans for my Halloween episode? I've actually got another Halloween month planned, but I don't want to give it away just yet. Thanks, YouTube bot account. Wow, YouTube's giving me money now. Thanks. Have I ever seen Wild Zero? Yes, I have. And I've got a few of Guitar Wolf's songs, too. How did I find out about the chieftain statue in North Dakota? Because every time we went on tour and to go to the States, we'd go through North Dakota because that's, Saskatchewan's right north of North Dakota. So, yeah, we would drive through there, and how do you not take a picture or something like that? Is there a Turkish knockoff of Godzilla? I hope so, because I want to do that. Is The Shining the best Stephen King movie? Yeah, it might be. For For good Stephen King adaptations, Misery's a good one. Um, what else? A lot of the It's weird. It seems like the more, I guess Misery's pretty close, but it seems like the more people deviate from it, A, the better the movie, and the more Stephen King seems to hate it. Let's see, you actually want to see Zilla in the Monsterverse. Is that so 2014 Godzilla can kill him like in Godzilla Final Wars? Carrie, right, yeah, that's another good one. Still considering doing Maximum Overdrive. There's actually another adaptation of the same story that's just called Trucks. I'd probably do that one first, or maybe do them both like one after another to compare them. Do I have a favorite Godzilla design? Yeah, the one from the 1991 Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. That's my favorite. Let's see. Thank you, Cole Thomas. As a Godzilla fan, do you think the legendary monster universe holds up to other Godzilla movies? Well, if you're talking Godzilla, we're only two movies in, and then three if you count Kong Skull Island. Um, I haven't thought any of them are bad at this point. Like I said earlier, I really enjoyed Kong Skull Island. So if they can keep them up like this, then yeah, hopefully. I guess we'll see if Godzilla versus Kong A is any good and also makes any money, because I know King of the Monsters did not make as much as the 2014 one did. Do I have a release date for the 200th episode? No, not at this point. I'm just taking the attitude of it's done when it's done. I don't want to rush it. Plus, like I said, I did a collab with Monster Island Buddies recently, which should hopefully be coming out fairly quick. Why so shiny? Probably the lights. Jonathan McKitty. What's it like being the sexiest movie reviewer on the planet next to Dudecadon, of course? I don't know who that is, but thank you. Is there a cult movie that you think shouldn't be? Meaning one that's considered a classic that I don't think is that great? Uh, I said this earlier, but the entire Friday the 13th series, out of all the legendary slasher series, that's my least favorite one. And even the first, other than the twist that the killer is, somebody's mom, I don't think the first Friday the 13th, compared to a lot of other slasher movies from that time, is that great. It's all right. John Michael Thor or Dragon Sound? Wow, that's a tough choice. Because Against the Ninja's catchy, but so is Keep the Dogs at Bay. I'll probably go with Thor just because he's Canadian. You like the newest Hellraiser movie? I haven't seen the newest one, and I'm guessing I'm probably not going to like it just because a lot of the recent Hellraisers have been really fucking bad. Do I really own a cat, or is that an urban legend? Yep, she's just somewhere else. Have I ever watched Strange Brew? Yes. Yes, I have. And I watched SCTV reruns when I was a kid. Who would I cast to play Herbert West in a Reanimator remake? That's really tough because it's hard to replace Jeffrey Combs. That's like replacing, if they ever replace Bruce Campbell as Ash. It's hard to even think about. Could I review Nuki for my 200th episode? No, I don't think I'll be doing that. Would I ever review the Chud movies? I haven't seen the second one, but yeah, I might do the first one. May I ask what's so special about ice pirates? Space herpes. It's got that. Favorite part of Godzilla Final Wars? I don't know, maybe the part that where they acknowledge that they show Vancouver as one of the cities, even though I don't think any of the monsters attacks them. No movie posters. Yeah, I do have movie posters. They're just not in my room. Favorite band? Queens of the Stone Age, probably. Do I like the 70s Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Yeah, that's another underrated remake. For like remakes of older 50s sci-fi, that's a good one. Will I review The Host or Troll Hunter? I'm assuming you mean the Korean Host and not that other one. Uh, Maybe. I'd probably do Troll Hunter before I did The Host. What about Caius? Oh, I don't know. Does this answer your question? What are your thoughts on Jeepers Creepers? I'm never gonna do those movies on my show just because of Victor Salva, and I'll just leave it at that. Do I have a favorite MST3K film? Like not episode, but film. Well, This Island Earth they did for the movie, which is actually like a decent, like entertaining. It's obviously dated because it's from the '50s, but that's an entertaining sci-fi movie. Thank you, Dark Side of the Moon. I found an obscure movie made in 1980, Midnight Madness, starring a pre-Back to the Future Michael J. Fox. Okay, never heard of that one. It's weird seeing famous people in movies before they really blew up. It's like seeing Jim Carrey in movies before Ace Ventura. Do I like Pokemon? No, I was never into Pokemon. Ever thought of reviewing any of the Elvira movies? Is there more than one? I just thought there was the one Elvira Mistress of the Dark movie. Thank you again, Fat Fucks. Appreciate it. What do I think of Garbage Pail Kids the movie? Never seen the whole thing, but what I've seen doesn't look that great. Could Liam Neeson play a serial killer? Yeah, probably. Be a nice change up from his recent 60-year-old action movie roles. Let's see. Thank you, The Inferno. Would I review the movie Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein? Maybe. I should do some of those older Universal movies. I might have to do something like Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman first, though. Would I ever do the Leprechaun movies? Yeah, I might skip the first one and just get to the sequel so I can get to Leprechaun in Space and Leprechaun in the Hood and Back to the Hood and all those ones. Terminator or RoboCop? Man, that's a tough one. Probably Terminator, just by a little bit. There's one other Elvira movie called Elvira's Haunted Hills. Okay, didn't know that. Thank you, Poopsack Jackson. Thanks for the super chat donation, man. Do I have any favorite black and white horror movies? Actually, the '50s version of The Thing I like. I like the Carpenter version better, but yeah, as far as '50s scary movies go, the original Thing's good. There's a failed Elvira sitcom too. So what? Something there where they just made a pilot and that was it? Starship Troopers or Carnosaur? Starship Troopers. Of course. Would I review Night Beast? Yeah, if I do another one of that guy's movies, Night Beast is probably going to be next. Chucky or Annabelle? Chucky, easy. Do I think Godzilla vs. Kong will be similar to Batman v Superman? In terms of length, it might be. I don't know, I just have a feeling that it's going to be like 2.5 or 2 hours and 40 minutes long. Kind of hope it's not. I prefer it if it was a bit more brisk, but I just got that feeling. Favorite non-zombie Ramiro film? Creepshow. That might even be my favorite just Ramiro film, period. Have I seen the TV show Red Dwarf? Yeah, I watched that when I was a kid. Can't remember what channel it would play on, but yeah. I didn't see any of the newer seasons. It was mostly one of the earlier ones, but I did enjoy it. Am I going to review Remote or Pre-Hysteria? Wow, somebody else remembers the movie Remote. I actually rented that back in the day. And I've never seen any of the Pre-Hysteria movies other than the first one. And again, anytime you do series, it's always a commitment, because once you do the first one, people say, are you going to do all the sequels? So you kind of got to psych yourself up whenever you do a movie that's the start of a series. Thank you, Mike Bassett. Do I plan on reviewing Basket Case? I don't have any plans at this point, but it's one I definitely would do. Let's see. Cole Thomas answered a message once asking about starting my review channel. It fell through. You're still an inspiration. Okay, well, it's too bad about the review channel, but, you know, if you change your mind, it's never too late to start. Leon Garnett, hi Brandon, love your work. Who would win in a fight, Toxic Avenger or Jason Voorhees? Probably Toxic Avenger, but Jason would still make it to the next movie anyway. He'd just get resurrected. Pedro 13, do I like the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies? I didn't see the third one. I didn't see the one where they go to China. I thought the first two were cheesy, but pretty fun. The Scorpion King effect in the second one is really fucking bad, though. That's one of the worst examples of CGI ever. David J. Thompson, thank you so much. Chud, I think, is streaming for... Man, a lot of people requesting Chud. I had no idea there were so many people who wanted me to do that one. Turkish Batman. Now, do you mean have I done it? Because I have, but is that another one that's been blocked? Because I know a lot of my Turkish videos have gotten blocked. What is my least favorite John Carpenter movie? I didn't see The Ward. I heard that one wasn't very good. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I didn't like the Village of the Damned remake, which was disappointing because the Thing remake is so good. Ghosts of Mars. Actually, a lot of people consider that one of his worst. I thought it was okay. Thank you, Ryan Clifford. Let's see. Have I heard of... Is it Shivi or S Heavy? I've heard of them, but I haven't actually heard much of their stuff. They usually get brought up in, like, recommendations for other stoner rock bands, though. Would I review Filipino Batman? Aren't there a couple of those? Isn't there one from like the 60s and one from the 80s or the 90s? Probably, I'd probably have to do the 60s one first, I'm assuming. What's the first comedy horror movie that comes to mind? Evil Dead 2 is a good one. And you don't really need, if you haven't seen the first one, you don't really need to, since they recap the first one in the first few minutes. Did I know they're prepping a sequel to Big Trouble in Little China? Is it a sequel or is it a remake? Because I've heard they've been planning on remaking it for a long time now. I got mixed feelings on either one of those. Do I like the band Styx? Nah, not really. They're a little cheese ball for my tastes. Thank you, Ryan Clifford. Will I review the North Korean Godzilla? I'm assuming you mean Pulgasari. That's another one I get a lot of requests for. So I should probably get to that at some point. Prince of Darkness is a Carpenter movie I have to do. Yeah, I said before I did a Geek Juiced live stream where we riffed the entire movie. And I'm not sure if that's available on the site. But if it was a few months ago, so it might be. You should check that out. Vampires or werewolves? Probably vampires. How about Tool? Yeah, I like Tool. Have I seen Night of the Lepus 1964? I've seen Night of the Lepus 1972. I didn't know there was a 60s version of it. Barbecue or vinegar chips? Barbecue. Easily. Chud. Man, a lot of people requesting Chud. What's the crappiest foreign knockoff movie? If we're talking in terms of production values, the Turkish ones. Pick any of them. How about King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard? Yeah, they're from Australia, right? And they put out like 3 albums a year every year. They've only been around for like a few years and they've got 20 albums. I haven't heard all of their stuff, but I've heard a little bit. But yeah, I've liked what I've heard so far. Would like to see me do Chud or Ghoulies. Another Chud request. Damn. Alright, note to self. I gotta do Chud right away. Is Scream an overrated series? As far as how popular it is, maybe. I did kind of like the first one, but I wouldn't say it's one of the great slasher movie series in my opinion. Favorite Jeffrey Combs flick? It might be a tie between the first Reanimator and From Beyond. Have I seen any Lars von Trier films? No, and I worked at an art house theater when I was going to school, and they played a couple of his movies, but I never watched any of them other than maybe like at one point if somebody was talking and I had to tell them to be quiet. Would I do The Keep? Yeah, I actually managed to get, because that's Michael Mann hates that movie and is trying to bury it. So that's why it hasn't gotten an HD release. But I did get my hands on a Laserdisc rip of it that looks pretty good. So I might do that one. First Godzilla movie that I saw as a kid, Godzilla 1985. Pretty sure I say that in my video. Last time I've been to a drive-in. I've only been to a drive-in once in my entire life. It was when I was a kid. And I saw a double feature. It was Deep Blue Sea and Mystery Men. Believe it or not. Any movies I'm dying to do but haven't yet? Yeah, I mentioned I really want to do heavy metal. But again, the soundtrack getting blocked, like, just YouTube blocking the sound on it because of one of the songs is the main reason why I haven't done it yet. I think it'd be really tricky to get that one through YouTube's copyright bots. That and the 1980 Flash Gordon movie. Favorite TV horror host? Elvira. You probably know why. Hey, somebody mentioned Krull. Yeah, that's another one I want to get to just because it was actually a pretty big budget movie for the time that just bombed. And apparently I studied some of the pre-release stuff on it, and they were thinking that it could compete with a movie like Return of the Jedi, and turns out they were wrong. Favorite Bond actor? Sean Connery. Joe Bob Briggs is the best. Yeah, yeah, I gotta give it to Joe Bob too. You're right. Am I in a rivalry with Decker Shadow? Not that I'm aware. Why are people saying that? Do I have a cutoff for how old a movie is? No, it's not really about how old it is. It's just more about how mainstream it is. So if it's a newer movie that got like a major theatrical release, then probably not. But if it's a new, sort of lesser known movie, I'd do it. I did that Johnny X movie, and that was made in 2011, I think. Would I want an R-rated Star Wars film? It might be kind of interesting, but I don't think Star Wars needs to be R-rated. I think it's one of those series that's just fine being PG-13. Thank you, Gary M. Have I seen Laser Blast? I've only ever seen the MST3K version of it. I've never seen just the regular movie. So I guess sort of. Is there an unmade Godzilla film that I would like to see made? Yeah, apparently in the 90s, they tried to do a new version of King Kong versus Godzilla, but it was too expensive to get the rights to Kong, so they didn't do it. But that would have been interesting. Thoughts on the new Blade movie? I'm hoping they give Wesley Snipes at least a cameo in it. He did 3 of the original series. I think he's earned it. What about something like the Puppet Master movies? If I did do that, I'd probably start in the middle with one of the other ones, just because I don't know if I have the energy to. Because how many Puppet Master movies are there? Like a dozen? There's so many of them. Have I seen Brotherhood of the Wolf? Yes, saw that shortly after it first came out. I thought it was. I sort of liked it, but a lot of it seemed really weird. Like when they first started doing the kung fu moves at the beginning, it kind of caught me off guard. But that's one I should probably watch again. I haven't seen it since it first came out. Any rat movies like the Food of the Gods? I've done Food of the Gods. That's on my channel. Have I seen Company of Wolves? Yes, and that is another really weird movie. It's got two of the weirdest werewolf transformations ever put on film. See, the Santos movies, I've never seen any of them. I just know that in Turkish Spider-Man they have the Turkish knockoff of El Santo. That's the that's the only thing. That's the closest thing I've ever seen to an El Santo movie. Have I seen Big Trouble in Little China? Yeah, absolutely. It's a great, entertainingly just batshit John Carpenter movie. Do I prefer the original or remake of The Hills Have Eyes? I've never seen the remake, so I can't say. Thoughts on the Cronenberg film Existenz? It's not one of my favorites as far as I think Videodrome's better, but it's that Existence has some interesting ideas, especially for considering when it came out too. Do I think modern fantasy holds up to 80s fantasy? Um, I think the thing is in the 80s there was kind of a boom, so there was a lot of good ones just because they were making so many of them. But for every Conan the Barbarian, there's a Conan the Destroyer plus all these lesser known You know, like Wizards of the Lost Kingdom or ones like that that people don't think of. Thank you, fat fucks. Have I watched The Greasy Strangler? No. Heard about it though. Not sure if I want to see. I'm not sure if I want to see that one. Any past reviews I wish I could do over? Yeah, pretty much any of my early ones, like any of the ones I did in the first like couple years. Just because, again, technical quality's not great, and I feel like I could write them better now. Ever considered doing other shows like video games, more modern movies? Yeah, sometimes. The only thing is that would take time away from doing the main videos, and I already, there's already a little too much time between them as it is, so I'd probably have to hire an editor or something before I did something like that. What's my honest opinion on Jurassic Park 3? It's dumb, but it's if you just look at it as a dumb monster movie, it's kind of fun. Favorite exploitation film starring a big name actor? Hmm. Well, I don't know. I've said this before, but Life Force really comes off like a just an exploitation movie just with a big budget. And that's got Captain Picard in it, making out with Steve Railsback. Monster Squad or Goonies? Monster Squad. Have I ever considered quitting YouTube and living in an old barn in the middle of the woods? No, because I like electricity. Goonies review? Probably not. I wouldn't hold your breath for that one. Ever heard of Jean Rollin? Yeah, I've heard of him. I don't think I've ever seen any of his movies, though. He usually makes a lot of vampire movies, right? Favorite Rutger Hauer film, and I can't say Blade Runner. I like The Hitcher. That's a good one. Think Hollywood will start remaking cult classics for the nostalgia bait? Well, they're already thinking of doing it. Like, cause I've heard them try. They're thinking of remaking Big Trouble in Little China, which bombed when it first came out. So it's probably not too far away. It'll probably be like a Labyrinth remake or something pretty soon, even though that movie wasn't a big success. Got a least favorite Godzilla design. Yeah, the one in the suit in Son of Godzilla. That's the worst one. Yeah, Toxic. Yeah, Toxic Avenger. That's another one they've heard of remaking. So yeah, as far as remaking either exploitation or lesser or cult movies, I think they're already kind of starting to do that. Let's see, Grabbers. Yeah, I've actually seen that one. That's a good. It's an Irish movie with these weird tentacle monsters, and the only way to get them to not attack you is to get really drunk because they don't like alcohol. So if anybody in the chat hasn't heard of that one, that's a good one to check out. Brad Dourif or Jeffrey Combs? Oh man, that's a tough one. If it's a bad guy, it's got to be Brad Dourif, just because Jeffrey Combs can play a good guy when he wants to more effectively, I think. Do I ever go to horror movie conventions? No, I've never been to a con in my entire life. I got to do that someday. Have I seen Tetsuo the Iron Man? Yeah, I haven't seen the second one though. JD Gust of Wind, thanks for the chat donation. Nate Lacard, favorite movie soundtrack? Probably heavy metal. I know it's kind of a stock answer, but it's true. Thoughts on the next Tremors movie? I haven't really heard much about it. I thought the last one was the one where they were in South Africa, right? Of the sequels, I thought that was one of the better ones. So maybe the next one will be good. Do I play any other instruments? I play a little bit of guitar and a little bit of drums, but bass is the main one. Do I have any interest in the new Creepshow series on Shudder? Yeah, I don't have Shudder, so I haven't. I don't know when I'll be able to see that one, but yeah, that might be worth checking out. Felipe13, thank you so much. Is Cinema Diabolica a great horror podcast or the greatest horror podcast? Never listened to it, so I couldn't tell you. Would I consider the '95 Power Rangers movie? Nah, there's if I did a, I'd probably do some other like actual Japanese toku movies first. Thank you, BBW Slayer. Do I like anime? I like some, but I'm not like a hardcore anime guy. Ricky O has entered my favorite movies of all time because of my show. All right. Well, glad I could help out with that. Let's see. Leon Garnett, have I seen Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter? Yes. Yes, I have. And I've said this before, but if I do another Hammer movie, it's probably going to be that one. American Old Boy or Korean Old Boy? Korean Old Boy. It's not. That shouldn't even be a question. Ever seen The House That Dripped Blood? Now, is that the British horror movie or the Tommy Wiseau short? Or no, Tommy Wiseau and his House That Dripped Blood on Alex, so you must mean the British one. Yeah, I think I saw that on TV a long, long time ago, but I don't remember much about it. What was the worst Korean movie I reviewed? Probably Korean Tron. American knockoff of Star Crash 2. God, I hope that doesn't exist. 2001 or 2010. 2010 is more entertaining because it's not as slow, but I mean, as far as just being a groundbreaking movie, you got to give it to 2001. How do I get my hands on some of these old movies? The internet's a big help. Also, there's some sites. There's this one site called Cult Action, which specializes in lesser known, sort of weird international movies. Looking at sites like that is a big help. Do I speak French? No, I took it for several years in school and didn't retain a thing. I gotta do Dead Alive. Yep, I know. I gotta do all the early Peter Jackson movies. Bruce exploitation movies, yeah, it's another genre I haven't done in a while. I just gotta pick which one I gotta do. It's gonna be hard to top Dragon Lives Again. Am I ever gonna do American Psycho? That one's probably a little too well known for my show. Will I ever review any Uwe Boll stuff? I said this about, again, Ed Wood and the Asylum. At this point, it's just kind of a little too easy and a little too obvious, so I don't know if I'll do that. Will I do any of the Elsa movies or the Jess Franco one? Maybe. I've only done one Jess Franco on my show, and considering he has like 200 movies, I gotta do some more of those. The Black Hole. Are you asking if I would ever do that? Maybe. That's one of those movies that in recent years a lot of people seem to like. I saw it. I thought it was okay, but I don't know. It's the little robots were too obviously trying to be cute, and it's kind of slow in a lot of places. I don't know. I don't like that as much as some other people seem to. Thank you so much, Grossman. Do I like the Andromeda Strain? I saw that when I was a really little kid, like probably too young to really appreciate it. So that's one I should probably watch again. Because I remember, yeah, I was a very, very little kid. It was on TV, and I watched it, but I was probably too young to fully appreciate that one. Devilfish with Michael Sopkev. Yeah, I might have to do that just to finish the Michael Sopkev quadrilogy. Thank you, Eric Young. Favorite Disney, Marvel, Star Wars movie? Are you talking Star Wars and Marvel together? As far as Marvel, I like the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked Winter Soldier. Those would probably be my two favorite Marvel ones. And then Disney, Star Wars. I don't know. Maybe Rogue One, just because it was the darkest one of the new ones. Have I done the Funhouse? No. Probably gonna do the Invaders from Mars remake before I do that one. That should probably be the next Toby Hooper movie I do. Mo- Movie that scared me the most as a kid. I remember when even though it's not technically a horror movie, I watched. I remember Aliens was a big one, but that's because I watched it when I was really, really young. Probably too young to watch it. I think it was like 6 or 7 when I first saw that one. Have I ever seen the Street Fighter series with Sonny Chiba? Yes. Yes, I have. What movie creature would I want to have as a pet? I don't know, maybe the little fuzzy guy from the Dark Crystal. What's his name? Fizzgig? He'd probably be a good one. Will I review Nemesis or Hardware? I've reviewed Hardware. It's on my channel. And Nemesis, maybe. Am I going to storm Area 51? No. And way to give everybody months of notice, so if anything's there, they can just move it. What movie creature would I take on a date? Does the space girl from Life Force count? Have I seen Space Hunter Into the Forbidden Zone? Yes, yes I have. Have I seen Spontaneous Combustion? No, that is yet another movie that I saw on the shelves at the video store but never actually rented. Thoughts on Killer Clowns from Outer Space? Yeah, that's deservedly a cult classic. And another one that I should probably get to one of these days. Thank you for the donation. Have I seen the 10,000 Fingers of Dr. T? I think I saw that a really long time ago, but my memories of it are very fuzzy. I don't know if I've seen the whole movie or not. Maybe. If I have, it was so long ago that I can't really say much about it. I forgot to do Godzilla's Revenge. Oh, I didn't forget. I just haven't done it yet. Do I like Batman Mask of the Phantasm? Yeah, I actually saw that in the theater when it first came out. And yeah, obviously the '90s, the Batman animated series is one of the best superhero cartoons ever, and the Mask of the Phantasm's a great movie version of that. Anything with Mark Hamill's Joker in it is probably gonna be good. Legend of the Dinosaurs or Ape? Which is worse or which is better? If it's which is better, I'm probably going to have to go with Legend of the Dinosaurs just because at least that has a good soundtrack. I'll take Syl from Species. Yeah, it's another good choice. Batman Sub-Zero. Never saw that one. Thoughts on Fantastic Voyage and Inner Space? I don't think I've ever seen Fantastic Voyage. I saw Inner Space when I was a little kid and thought it was pretty good. Have I seen the new anime Godzilla movies? I saw the first one. It was okay, but it didn't really make me want to seek out the other ones that much. Have I seen Godzilla King of the Monsters from this year? Yes, and I'm probably going to be doing a Patreon video for that, just like a vlog style one a little bit later. Favorite MST3K host? It's hard to choose between Mike and Joel, but I got to choose Mike. Mike was more of a dick, which I liked. That's good for that show, so I got to go with Mike. Oh, the other anime Godzillas were terrible? Yeah, okay. Well, I guess it's good I didn't see him then. Favorite DeVito character? Well, if you mean Danny, I don't know, the Penguin maybe? Thoughts on Joe Bob Briggs? Joe Bob's great. More Godzilla. Oh, 2 hours in and I'm still getting the Godzilla questions. Nice wood paneling. Yeah, I know my room's boring as fuck, but whatever. It's where I sleep, that's it. Ever thought about doing a live movie riff stream? I actually do lots of those on this site called Geek Juice. If you follow me on Twitter and Facebook, I post whenever I'm doing one of those. But yeah, we go through. It's like my show, except we go through the whole movie. Thank you, Casey Brooks. What is the most original, unique cult movie I have or haven't seen? I'm assuming you must mean have seen. Original concepts that were unexpectedly good. Well, I mentioned this earlier, but the original Wicker Man is a movie that's really hard to just put in one box. It's usually classified as a horror movie, but it's not really a horror movie. It's a musical, and yeah, it's so weird, yet it all still kind of works somehow. So that's probably a case of where it's a bunch of weird ideas that work as one movie. Did I see Shin Godzilla? Yeah, I actually have a video of that on my Patreon. A lot of people seem to either love or hate that one. I actually didn't mind it. I have some mixed thoughts on some things, but I actually did like Godzilla's new design, and I did kind of appreciate that they were kind of moving Godzilla back to where he's the only monster and taking things a little bit more seriously. How many movie 50 packs do I have littering my house? I think just two. I think I just have a couple. Problem is the quality of the movies on there are really fucking bad, like unwatchably bad on some of them. Thoughts on whoever slew Auntie Roo? Never seen it, so can't tell you. Gabriel Luna, thank you. Have I ever seen the 1980s movie Vamp? Yes, yes I have. And I wasn't on it, but Geek Juice did a live stream riff of the movie last Halloween. Have I seen Lake Placid? Yes. Haven't seen any of the sequels though. That's another series where there's probably more of them than I think there is. Didn't they do like Lake Placid like versus something? Lake Placid versus Sharktopus or some shit like that. Subspecies franchise. Again, that's one of those series. I've never seen any of them. I haven't seen a single one of the Subspecies movies. Lake Placid versus Anaconda, right. Let's see. Cannibal Holocaust is another movie that's getting a lot of requests. I don't know about that one, though. I'm not a fan of the real animal killings. What do I think about Republic of Doyle? Never seen it. A lot of those CBC shows I don't watch. I should check out Alone in the Dark with Jack Palance and Donald Pleasance. Yeah, isn't Martin Landau in that too? Because I did Without Warning, which has Jack Palance and Martin Landau. So that might be another good one to do. Canadians don't watch CBC. Yeah, big surprise. We watch mostly American stuff. Do I plan on doing more reviews of Chinese martial arts movies? Yeah, I have a bunch of Shaw Brothers martial arts movies from the 70s. So those are definitely going to be coming in the future. How about Abominable Doctor Fives? Again, on Geek Juice, I was on a live stream where I riffed the entire movie. I think it was probably 6 months ago, and if you check the Geek Juice site, it might be on there. Greatest Canadian hero, Doug McClure or Zap Rousdower? Well, Doug McClure is not Canadian, so it's got to be Zap. What about doing Evil Ed? Yeah, that one's so gory, though, that might get age restricted. Although Demons wasn't, surprisingly. Ever thought of doing Ghoulies or Critters? Yes, I've said this whenever people bring up series, but whenever you start one of those, it's a commitment, because as soon as you do one, you gotta do them all. Gretzky is the greatest Canadian hero. Yeah, but did he ever wonder if there was beer on the sun? Do I watch movies for enjoyment outside of stuff I watch for the channel? Yeah, surprisingly, I do have a life outside of making videos for YouTube. So I do go to the movies with friends and watch stuff on Netflix and actually watch regular movies and not cult movies. Thoughts on Scanners? Yeah, I like any of the early Cronenberg stuff. I like. He's another great Canadian hero. Freddy or Candyman? I really like the first Candyman, but Candyman really just has one good movie. So for numbers, I'm probably gonna have to give that to Freddy. Thoughts on Birdemic? Well, it's a cheap piece of shit. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. Thoughts on the Canadian band Rush? I'm not a big fan, but I will admit they are great at their instruments. As a bass player, I'll say, yeah, obviously Geddy Lee's a great bass player, but I like a couple songs of theirs, but I never really got into them. Again, yeah, don't watch CBC, and I'm not a big fan of Rush. I'm a real bad Canadian. Is it Dr. Bonerite or Dr. Boneright? Thanks for the donation. Please review Ethan Cohen's Naked Man. Ethan Cohen of the Coen Brothers? I don't know if a Coen Brothers movie would qualify for my channel. Ever thought of reviewing Driller Killer? That's the Abel Ferrara movie, right? Maybe. Have I seen The Suckling? Yes. Does the girl in the latest Godzilla count as a Kenette? In my opinion, no. Cole Thomas, anything you won't watch under any circumstances? There's just stuff like there's a movie called I think it's called Night of the Thousand Cats. It's a Mexican exploitation movie, but they apparently actually abused and killed real cats in it. Anything with stuff like that in it, I'm not going to do one of those on my show. Ever seen a good movie on sci-fi? You mean the sci-fi original movies? Because when they play actual, like, regular movies, that's good, but the sci-fi original ones are really bad. Have I seen Sallow? No. Own any horror memorabilia? Yeah, I got a couple of posters and stuff. I know none of them are in here, but they're elsewhere in my place. Do I want to see Godzilla and Kong get drunk off red berry juice in the upcoming movie? Yeah, that might be kind of funny. I doubt they'll do it, though. Thoughts on the Canadian stoner rock artist Mac DeMarco? I've never heard of him before. I'll have to check him out. Venture Brothers or The Tick? Venture Brothers. Have I seen Ginger Snaps? Yeah, I've seen the first one, but I haven't seen any of the sequels. Do I think America can do justice for Mechagodzilla? Yeah, as long as they don't go too overboard redesigning him, like they make him something other than a regular Mechagodzilla. But yeah, they might pull him off. Have I seen Dollman? Yes, that is. I've seen Dollman. I've seen Demonic Toys, but I haven't seen Dollman versus Demonic Toys. All right, I've been streaming for over 2 hours now, and I'm noticing a lot of the questions are starting to repeat here. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up right now. If you're thinking about using the super chat donations, don't, because there's a delay, so I might not see it before it actually comes through. But thank you all so much for coming out to my 100,000 subscriber Q&A. And yeah, hopefully this time next year I'll be doing a 200,000 subscriber one. So see you later.